Hello everyone and welcome to Evic Europe Studios for this first educational video. My name is Max and today I decided to address the curious who might be wondering, what is Airsoft? Airsoft is a sport-based hobby which allows in its most common form grown adults to continue playing war or goodies and baddies. To do so, they use replica firearms that propel non-lethal plastic pellets of 6mm diameter. Wearing eye protection is the minimum requirement for playing. Mixing role-playing, opposition games played alone or in teams, and shooting skills, Airsoft can be practiced by everyone in various forms. Practitioners, known as Airsofters, often emphasize on notions of surpassing themselves, stimulating their tactical sense, and the atmosphere of comradeship that prevails during skirmishes as decisive factors of their attachment to this discipline. Following Japan's defeat during World War II, Japanese citizens were forbidden to own firearms. But due to the growing demand of some amateurs, fully manipulable and non-functional replicas started to be manufactured, to be transformed during the 70s into models capable of propelling BBs thanks to compressed air canisters. During the 90s, Tokyo Marui created the first battery-powered AEGs for automatic electric guns. These replicas were less bulky and less difficult to maintain, democratizing airsoft worldwide. Involving firearms replicas, airsoft is primarily a shooting-related discipline. Airsoft can thus be practiced as a variant of shooting sports, involving fixed or moving targets. The IPSC, for International Practical Shooting Confederation, which is the world's largest shooting sports association, even has a branch entirely dedicated to airsoft. Sport shooting exists in several forms, the two best known being static shooting, where the shooter remains stationary, and dynamic shooting, where the shooter must follow a predefined path and engage targets in various positions and with various replicas. It is possible to practice in your backyard, but you must secure it to avoid stray bullets and stay out of sight of passers-by to avoid any confusion between your replicas and real firearms. The art of airsoft is firstly to be an opposition game of sporting character. Since the pellets are not lethal, it allows players to shoot at each other without risk of serious injury. As BBs leave no trace on impact, unlike the projectiles full of paint used in paintball, airsoft requires a great deal of fair play from the players. Airsofters are expected to declare themselves as soon as they feel a hit, even a stupid one. Players often meet on private fields and organize themselves in two or more teams with the same or opposite objectives to secure in order to generate conflict. Let's see a few examples. Capture a central position, steal the opponent's flag and bring it back to one's camp, protect or eliminate a VIP, or just eliminate the enemy team to the last player. All scenarios, from the simplest to the most complicated, are possible and can be considered. There's a variant called LARP Airsoft, very role-playing oriented, where the scenario and the interactions between players are primordial, while another variant, called Speedsoft, emphasizes rather on the fast-paced play style and on the sporting side of the discipline, in the same way as paintball. There's a very advanced variant of airsoft called MILSIM for military simulation. This practice, sometimes very close to reenactment, aims to reproduce a real or fictitious military operation on a vast terrain and with very high prerequisites. Very realistic loadout and equipment, respect of a chain of command and use of radios, good knowledge of orientation, topography, vocabulary of the armed forces, and so on. Practiced by very few very demanding players, aiming for immersion above all, MILSIM is like Speedsoft and LARP Airsoft. It's a derivative of traditional airsoft and certainly the most common and best known of the three. Wherever you are, whatever your means and preferences, you have seen that airsoft is a complete hobby that will suit everyone. Even if laws regulate this hobby in a different way from one country to another, generally limiting the minimum age to practice and the maximum power of replicas, it is still accessible and practiced by very different people with very different experiences and profiles. That's it! This video is now over. I hope you enjoyed it and that it gave you the desire to go on your first Airsoft skirmish. If so, you can leave us a like and subscribe not to miss any of our incoming videos. Thanks for watching. See you soon buddies and play well!